what are the coordinates of origin? Now we know that how do we find out the coordinates of any given point, say point P on the coordinate plane, right? So what we do is we simply find out the perpendicular distance of the point P from x and y axis. So if this is the x axis, x dash, and we know this is a y axis, y dash. So we drop a perpendicular from the point on the y axis. So this gives us the distance of point P from origin along y axis, which is this length. And then we find out, we drop a perpendicular on x axis, and then this distance, it tells us how far away the point is from origin along x axis. And this is what we called as the x and the y coordinates of the point P. That is, the x coordinate is how far away from origin along x axis. So this distance, right? So if you were to name this point, let's call this point as point A, and let's call this point as point B. So how far is this point P away from origin along x axis? That is this length OB. So we call that as x coordinate, or sometimes abscissa. And similarly, how far away is point P along y, away from origin along y axis? That will be OA, which is also known as ordinate, right? So we know, and then we say the coordinate of our point, we write them within bracket. We first put the x coordinate and the y coordinate, and x coordinate is how far away from origin along x axis, which is in this case 4, and y coordinate is how far away is the point from origin along y axis, which is basically this distance, which is 6. So we know how to find out the coordinate of any given point. Now let's say we were trying to find out the coordinate of our origin. Origin, we know, is this point over here, right, where both the axes they meet. So this is our x-axis again, x dash, this is x-axis, this is y-axis, y dash. So they meet at origin. Now let's say if we had a point, let's say maybe somewhere, let's say over here, let's call it point A. Now we know the x coordinate, we can write the point A as x coordinate will be how far away from x, how far away from origin along x axis. That looks like something like this distance. So this is 7, this is probably going to be 8. So this length, x coordinate will be 8. And how far away is point A from origin along y axis? That will be this distance over here, right? So which, if you were to drop perpendicular here, so this will be 2. So A will be 8, 2. X coordinate is 8, y coordinate is 2. Now let's say we get a point maybe somewhere over here, and let's call this point as point B. So what can we tell about the coordinates of point B? Well, B looks like much closer to origin compared to A. This was A, and this is our point B. So we can say B, how far away is point B from origin along x-axis? That this looks like about 3 units. So we say this is 3. And how far along y-axis? Away from origin along y-axis, this looks like 1 unit, right? So this is 1 unit. This is point P. So this distance, so this is 1 unit. So we will say it's a 3, 1. And if you were to get something even closer, so what you notice is that the x coordinate and y coordinate, both values are becoming smaller and smaller. For A, x coordinate was 8. For B, x coordinate is 3. So similarly, the y coordinate for A was 2, for B it is 1. So as we keep coming closer and closer to origin, the x and y value, they reduce. And finally, when we are at the origin, what will be the x and y value? X and y value will be 0. So what we will have for origin, the point, we know we refer to origin with uppercase letter O. O for origin, we refer to this point by uppercase letter O. So for O, x will be 0 and y will be 0. So we say that the coordinates of origin which is the uppercase letter O, will be 0 and 0. Because origin is our reference point. We measure everything as to the distance from origin, right? If, let's say, we said this is point A, this is point B, if this were point C, right? As we are coming closer and closer to origin, the x and y coordinates are both reducing. When we fall on the origin, when we merge on the origin, at that point there is no distance left from origin for both x and y axis. So we say that the x coordinate will be 0. That means there is no difference of the point along x-axis from origin. They are the same point. Similarly, on the y-axis, we will say that there is no distance left from origin of this point along y-axis. So both x will be 0 and y will be 0. We say the coordinates of the point origin is 0, 0.